Desperate to survive, he grabbed a knife and stabbed wildly at the water. To his surprise, he ended up catching a small shark. Since they had been stranded at sea, they hadn't eaten for a week. They had no choice but to stab the shark in the belly with their dagger. Sure enough, there were some small fish inside the shark's stomach. Starving, they grabbed them and stuffed them into their mouths. This was their first meal in a week. Once they had eaten their fill, they stored the remaining fish meat in their socks. Knowing that the road to survival was still long ahead, they had to cherish this hard-won food. By the time they finished, the lifeboat was covered in blood. They had no choice but to clean it up with their clothes. Unaware that the scent of blood would soon attract sharks, the captain urged his teammates not to go near the edge of the raft, lest they easily become the sharks' next meal. They could only sit there, afraid to move. But late at night, when all was quiet, one young man forgot the captain's warning. Without a word, he reached into the sea to wash his face. The next second, he was bitten by a shark. Fortunately, it was a small shark. Seeing that the bite wasn't very deep, the captain immediately found a piece of cloth to bandage it. From then on, they had to be extremely careful. As the days passed, they had been adrift in the Pacific for nearly half a month. When hungry, they ate some fish. When thirsty, they drank the seawater. Fortunately, the young man's wound didn't become infected, and in order to return to land as soon as possible, they prayed to the heavens every day, hoping to encounter a passing ship. But while their hopes were high, reality was harsh. They never encountered a single vessel. Even more terrifying was that their food and water were running out. Just as everyone was about to faint from hunger, one of the young men suddenly raised a pistol. At first, his teammates thought he'd lost his mind, but he aimed the gun at the captain. It turned out that an albatross had flown right past the captain. Starving, he pulled the trigger without a second thought. The captain, coming to his senses, quickly jumped into the sea, but just as he was about to swim back, he spotted a shark heading straight for him. Terrified, the others shouted for him to return. However, at that critical